Yes,
What what plane is that one?
that was the BT-13.
BT-13.
And this one we moved to, we were in Arkansas. Let's see, what the hell was the name of that town in Arkansas? I'd have to look it up, I guess. Well, wait a minute, maybe it says here. Tucker, Wolf, Tuttle, Tipton, Timotendale, Thompson. That's tells everybody starting over at that end.
And what year was it when you were shot down?
44, you think, maybe? Same year we were married.
What?
The same year we were married, wasn't it? Isn't that when we got...
44.
Said he was shot down twice, same year.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it would have been 44.
Over where?
Romania.
Ploesti?
No, we yeah, we went to Ploesti that day, but we had a squadron commanders used to alternate, leading, and this guy, the day that we went, everybody else got a recall. The whole 15th Air Force got a recall. But the guy that was leading that day was a guy that had never led the group to the target. And he said, "We're going to the target today, period." And we did. But there was, about 36 of us. This guy said, "We're going to, I've never been to the target, and we're going today. I don't care if they give us a recall." So they did. And when we got to Romania, we were used to getting opposition, but that day we got opposition plus.
Yeah. And was it a fighter?
When they told us later, these Romanians told us when we saw that group coming, that it used to be that they had to order their pilots up to fight us, or to try to knock us down. That day, those Romanian pilots were fighting for airplanes. Oh, God.
What? And was it a fighter that shot you down, or was it ground fire?
It was about 100 fighters. Oh.
He was shot down there over Romania, and Romania hated Russia and hated Germany both, so they were favoring Italy, in time, and that's where they came through. When they surrendered, they came through Italy that way.
When the P-38s got there, we were in our chutes, and usually, like they used to say that they told us, some of the guys, that they used to order these Romanian pilots up, but that day they didn't have to. And when the P-38 escort got there were 15 of them in there, and the first pass they got 15 Romanian planes. And the next pass they couldn't find any. Oh, that's a long time ago.
When he was shot down, another boy from Craig was shot down the same day, but he was shot down over Germany or something, and he was a prisoner of war too, and he didn't get out for a year after Lee did.
Was that Pleasant, or who was that?
Herrick, Julius Herrick.
Julius Herrick.
Yeah.
His dad was a judge here, Julius's dad, but he got shot down over Germany. And he didn't get
It's
out.
nothing worse.
He was hung up.
And what mission were you on? How many missions when you got shot down?
I think it was my 27th.
And if you'd have made it to 30, 35 at the time, or 33, or what was it? You'd have been.
Oh, there was a certain number there. I'm afraid to say how many. But anyways, we got to go on a week's
Furlough?
yeah, weeks down in North Africa someplace that we got to go down there and be on the beach or something. I don't know what the hell it was, but we didn't get there anyway.
You never got. So you hadn't had any breaks? No. So how long were you a prisoner then?
Well, I got shot down May 18th and got back to Italy on September 5th. But we had a guy that was in prison camp, was a, what the hell rank was he anyway? Anyway, he, how the hell was that anyway? He was pretty high ranking anyway. And they had, they had moved us out of Bucharest right out to a little old dirt strip out of in the country, you know. And this, I can't think what the hell rank that guy was, but he was pretty high ranking. And they'd moved us out of Bucharest, out right on the edge of Bucharest. And he got us all together out there and said he was going to go to, he said, Nat Twining, the head of the 15th Air Force, was a very personal friend of mine. And he said, I'm going back to Italy and we're going to get out of here. We were outside of Bucharest, there's a little old dirt strip out there. And I don't know whether we believed him or not, but the first airplane they put him in to go, I forget what it was, engine trouble or something, and he came back. And they got another airplane, another pilot, another airplane, and Twining, and that was his name, Nat Twining. And how the hell was it? Anyway, he said, I'm gonna go get some airplanes to come get us. And they came in with a whole bunch of B-17s and landed on a place, and they loaded us up, 20 guys. They had the bomb bays boarded up, and we just piled in there and sat on the bomb bays and headed for Italy. And when we got back to Italy, first thing they did was delouse us. I mean, with a DDT, you know, we got out and they gave us this delouse bath and then a shower on top of that and everything. I spent 5 days in the hospital, and then before I got back to the squadron. But anyway,
One
and
time,
then
one time, I don't know where it was that you were a prisoner. You and another two or three of you tried to escape. Remember? And you.
yeah, that was just after we got shut down, and we were in a little town right on the Danube River. A little town, but we thought we could get out of there and walk across Bulgaria to get to Turkey. And we were all set, and the three of us, Rittenhouse, my co-pilot, and I, and this, he was a B-24 gunner off of B-24, and how was it? We were in a barracks at this time, just a barracks right in this little town. And the guys, the food that we got, we didn't get very much, so the guys said, well, if you guys are going, we won't eat any of our food, we'll fix it for you. And you can carry it off, So Rittenhouse and this Fisher was his name. And this Jewish kid, and I saw him one time after that at a meeting that we had down in Dallas, Texas. And I recognized him, and he recognized me and everything. But anyway, we had a restroom. You had to go out, and a guard at the door and a guard on the windows. And the guard on the door, if somebody said they had to go to the restroom, well, he would take somebody to the restroom, but this other guard, how the hell was that?
Took his place or something.
Yeah, the restroom, you had to go out the door and down the thing to the restroom, and the guard on the windows, I guess, had to, some way he pulled off and was on the door, and then the other guard took somebody to the restroom, and this Jewish kid said he'd go to the restroom, and so
Two or three of you walked past.
yeah, we had it fixed so we went out the window and we were going that way, and we went out the window, and there was a hedge out there, and we hit that hedge, but it was a wire fence, Oh man, we hit that son of a gun and really just flipped us back. But anyway,
They got down so far on the Danube, but it was in flood.
yeah, well, when we got out, when we went out the door, the three of us, there were three of us there, and we were in a deal right on the, well, we didn't know where we were anyway. But we got out of there, and the guys saved food for us, and we had it in something, I don't know what they had, hell, we had it in. But anyway, we got in that Danube River that night. We took, we were, after we got out of the town, yeah, people were out walking around, you know, and talking, and couldn't understand them. We couldn't, anyway, we saw some logs, you know, and so we pulled these logs, and hell, we were pulling the roof off the guy's dugout. And we heard him hollering and everything, and we took off then and we got a couple of 3 logs that we figured we gotta have something to help us get across that damn Danube, you know. And we got in the river, and we'd wade for a while, and then pretty soon we couldn't hit bottom. We'd swim for a bit. We'd bundled our clothes up. And finally, we did this for a long time that night. And I mean, we were tired and everything. I know my dad, my folks had given me a wristwatch for graduation from high school. And I was so damn cold when I crawled up in that tree, I dropped that watch and it's still over there. But anyway, we came to this, there was a cabin and there was also a tower there. So we got in that tree that night. And then when it got daylight, or light enough to see, well, here's a tower with steps leading up to it, you know, and it was bordered all the way around. So when it got to where we could see, we figured, well, there was a cabin there, and I don't know whether we took, no, we didn't take any logs off of there, but when it got light enough to see, we crawled up into that tower. And then there was some kind of a boat they had on the river, you know. We crawled up, we figured we got to get up in that tower, because we've been too long on the river, and we were cold and all that BS, so. But anyway, we crawled up in that tower that had probably as high as that mantle up, that we were down in this tower, and we laid in there, and then we decided, well, we got to do something. We got to get us a boat to get on the river, and we'll go down and then tear this cabin up and make us a raft. And so we stayed there all that day, and there was a barge out there on the river, and those guys on the barge, and they didn't show anything, you know, all the time, all that day and everything. And so we decided, well, we got to get us some boards out of that thing and make a raft before dark. And then we'll make this raft and get across. Huh. We got those logs. No, we figured we had to get the logs. When we went down after the logs out of this thing, those people on the barge over there they hadn't paid attention. So we decided, well, before dark, we're gonna get the hell out of here. Oh.
Did they catch you then?
They sent a guy over with a gun off of this barge. He came over, and we just debated on whether to knock him in the head or not, you know. Decided, well, they sent one guy over, and then how the hell was that? They sent this one guy over, and we debated on whether to take his gun and knock him in the head or not. But about that time, the other guys on this barge started showing up, they had guns. So, the hell did we do?
They captured you then
Yeah.
and put you back in,
Yeah, they took us on the barge and took us back down to the town that we'd got out of. And next day they took our belts, and they took our shoes, and they took our shoelaces, and everything like that, you know. And they were marching us back to the next day. They were marching us back, and this guy was marching right behind me, and he kept poking me with his gun, you know. And he poked me with his gun, and he said, "Are you scared?" And I said, "No, not necessarily." He'd go along a little ways and poke me in the back with it. "Are you scared?" "No, I'm not scared." He did that all the way back to that damn place. The next day, they shipped the whole crew from in there. They shipped us up to Bucharest.
And your crew off of your plane was in a different place because you had told them to bail out earlier? After you were shot?
Yeah, this was, yeah.
So was your crew in the prison camp with you or not?
Yeah.
They were.
When, I did my bombardier. Well, let's see, Wicks was my bombardier, and how the hell did that go anyway? Anyway, when I got up to the prison camp in Bucharest, in the deal there, and it was just a, well, it was a bunch of, when they got us right into Bucharest itself, we were in a barracks-like deal where they had these their GIs, you know. And when we got there, this great big guy walked up to me and he says, "You don't recognize me, do you?" And I said, "No." He says, "Hell, I was your brand new bombardier on that thing. You didn't recognize me." "No, I didn't." That was a guy named Stewart. But he would take the Stewart. He had a personality that was just, he didn't care about what he was doing or anything. And when he saw me that day, and he said, "You don't know me, do you?" "No, I don't know you." But he would take a guard's gun away from him and do the manual of arms, and then give their gun back to him. Stuff like that, oh, crime. Stewart was a hell of a nice guy, from Arkansas. But,
And what bomb group were you?
Hmm?
What bomb group number?
463rd.
463rd.
he said Romania was scared of Russia and Germany both. So they kind of went towards Italy, thinking it was the least of it, you know. But when Romania realized they were going to be overrun, and it was a small country, and the princess there or something had a bunch of jewelry, and she gave it to your crew members, didn't she, to take the jewelry out?
Well, she was a queen over there in Romania, and she came here.
Yeah, she came over
All
to the
over.
United States, talked all over, and she came here.
She came up here. Well, I took her to Kiwanis, and she ate down there at Kiwanis and got up and talked to him. She could speak good English and everything. She came up, sat right over there, and ate dinner with us.
They hated Russia and Germany both.
And they were scared to death of the Russians. More so than the Germans. A lot more so than the Germans. They just didn't want anything to do with those Russians. Period. But anyway, when they moved us out of town, and this Twining, never said this, no, he wasn't Twining. He said, Twining, I got a good friend. He said, we were all out, they'd moved us out of downtown Bucharest, and they enlisted, all the enlisted crew, your gunners and everything, were, they were in this old schoolhouse down at the railroad yards. And when we first got in there, I was in with the enlisted men down there because I got sick and had diphtheria, and I got sicker than hell. And when I got treatment for it, I went all to hell. I don't know. Anyway, that's a long time ago. God.
So B-24s were flying at the same time.
Huh?
Did B-24s ever fly formation with B-17s?
No.
No?
Not with us. No.
But they were flying B-24s at that time as well.
Yeah, but the B-24s, there was a, what the hell was his name? King, I think. Anyway, he was going to do a mission and wipe out, what the hell was that oil refineries? Bucharest, or no,
Ploesti.
Ploesti. And then he went in there with B-24s, low level, and the first waves went in and blew tanks, and the next waves coming through, flying through the flames. Hell, they were losing airplanes like crazy. We came in at 20-some thousand feet, and they called us criminals. We drop our bombs from up there. You didn't get down here where we could shoot at you. But I think we were lucky we didn't get to Bulgaria, because those people over there would cut your throat.
That's what I was gonna ask. So if you crossed the Danube, you might have been in more trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, if we'd have got across to Turkey, to Bulgaria, and walked to Turkey, we'd have been in a lot of trouble. And there were just the three of us. But
You know, Europe is just about the same size as the United States, but each state is different
Country.
language, different money, different, and I guess they're just going to keep on fighting forever, probably.
Have you guys been back to Europe at all?
I haven't.
what?
I don't think.
Did you ever go back to Europe ever?
I didn't want to go back. No, I had no desire to go back. When I got back to Italy, Bob McClement was from Craig, and Fred Siebert was second bomb. And when I found out, Fred told me that McClement, that he'd been in Naples. Naples? No, yeah. He'd been in
Anyway, you went to Rome.
Naples, and he was in P-38s. McClement was twin engine. And I'd always wanted to fly twin engine, and I wanted to fly fighter. And when I got up to another kid, and I got up to Washington after graduating, and his first flight, he took off at midnight, and he was in an airplane landing, and the other airplane taking off. 20 guys dead.
And that was a guy from. You knew that guy from Craig?
No, I didn't know that.
You knew him
guy.
from Basic.
I didn't know him, but when we got our group up there where we were going to operate out of our group, not scattered all over hell. That was one thing that Kurtz did. He said, we're gonna be in our own outfit, period. Fly all of our own stuff, which I thought was a good idea.
And when you flew over to Africa, right? First, when you flew your plane over?
Yeah, we were down in, we were up in,
Left from Florida. Went down to Florida to go down to South America and then across.
yeah, we went down to Fortaleza, Brazil, and then flew to Dakar, and then went up to we walked in there. We left Brazil at midnight, or right after anyway. And when we got to Dakar, midnight I think we got there, and we bunked down, you know, and we were asleep, and these guys walked in through there, and they were, I forget what the hell they were doing, but they marched through. They big guys, and they were dressed with their bottoms from the waist down. They had like a skirt on, and I don't know what it looked like, but we were asleep, and they walked in cadence, you know, and walked down the thing, about face, and walked out, and all of us were laying there in our bunks, looking at these big, tall guys. I mean, I bet there wasn't one of them under 7 feet. The next day, I guess we went up to, we went north, anyway, up to, can't remember the names of those countries even over there. They told us not to go down through this town, you know. Another guy and I, well, I don't know whether it said we couldn't ride the bus or something. Anyway, we ended up in Dakar, let's see, we were in Dakar, and then when we went that day, anyway, we ended up down in this, riding a bus through this town. Nobody said anything. I was young enough, I was dumb enough. We didn't stay very long in that desert, right? I can't think what they called that, country, the country there. And then when we left there, we flew up to Italy. God, that's a long time ago.
60,
43?
70 years? 70 years. 70 years.
How much?
70.
70?
It's been a while. he kept a diary the way I did. You could
Yep.
read it.